I don't even know if I have it in me to say it anymore because it's been so long since I said it, I'm a little rusty. So let me try. me. The Tennessee Titans won a football game today. They won. They were victorious. They scored more points than the other team and won. Crazy, right? Crazy. In this economy, the Titans won a game. I know a lot of you are disappointed. I got so much to say about this game, so I'm going to try to keep this relatively short. I know a lot of you are disappointed because you wanted the Titans to lose, because you want that number 1 overall pick. You watch Fernando Mendoza at Indiana, how well he's playing, and you know if you have the number 1 overall pick, somebody might very well want to trade a lot of stuff to move up and get him, and that seems appealing. That could really help us out as we try to rebuild this thing. I understand that, and I get you. I get it. You're right. That is something that's been on my mind too. Man, hope we didn't hurt our draft spot too bad. Now, the Saints won. That's good. The Saints beat the Buccaneers randomly today, and that's good. I will just offer a counter perspective. Because while I understand the draft implications, and we're fans, and of course we're going to think about that, I will also offer this. There is a good side to the Titans winning this game too. Because, and I've been vocal about this all season, the rookies, the young players, every player on this team, they need to experience victory at some point. It can't always be doom and gloom. It can't always be losing, because that takes a toll as well. That takes a toll. Cam Ward said last week after the loss to Jacksonville, he said that this season was testing his mental toughness and his love of the game. These guys needed a win. Because whatever you think about the roster or the coaching, whatever, these players are putting their bodies on the line every day. We're right here at the holidays. They're taking time away from their families. They're playing hurt. It's snowing. It's cold. You know, they keep losing. They've been playing some of the better teams in the league. They're getting whooped every single week. It's a good thing that they are able to be in the locker room right now celebrating a win. That's a good side of this. If you want a good side of it, that's one. Because I'm glad that Cam Ward and the rookies and the young players especially are getting to experience a win, getting to experience some happiness and victory. Because if it's all doom and gloom all the time and there's never any happiness, never any celebrating, that takes a toll too. And I know they're not in the playoff hunt, far from it, but these guys are putting their bodies on the line and they deserve to celebrate a win. And I'm glad they're getting that today because you need that too. It can't all just be doom and gloom. But I get what you're saying about the draft. I get where you're at with that. You're worried about that. Like I said, the Saints won, and we still got 4 games to go. This is not like ruining any chance the Titans have of having the number 1 overall pick. You need to root for the Giants and Raiders to win some games, and who's to say they can't? I would have never thought the Titans would win another game, but they did. I didn't think the Saints would beat Tampa Bay today, and they did. So watch the Giants, watch the Raiders. You never know. You never know. We could still end up back up there. I mean, I think we're going to drop to maybe 3-2, depending on what happens with the rest of these games, but it's not over. The season's not over. We can still get back up there. The players deserve to celebrate this win. The coaches don't. Some of them don't. Mike McCoy and Bo Hart agree. I'm not going to harp on it too much because the Titans won and I don't want to just be all angry, but cowardly. Some of this was cowardly coaching again and play calling. I know the run game was going well, but at the end, when we get the ball with a chance up 28-17, we get the turnover, you can throw a dagger, you can try to score another touchdown, the run game ain't hitting anymore, and you just run it up the middle and surrender and kick a field goal. Come on. And then you get it back 31 to 23, I think, late in the game. We get the ball back, run it up the middle 3 straight times, run a minute off the clock. Bro, unless you're just trying to tank, unless you're trying to lose, that is as pathetic as you will see at any level of coaching. But I'm not going to harp on it too much. Let's talk about the actual players in the game because I told you I had a lot to say and I don't want to hold you too long. A lot of people in my comments this week have been saying, Shadeur Sanders is only in the NFL because of his last name. He's only in the NFL because of his dad. He's not even good enough to be in the NFL. I'll just tell you this. I've been as annoyed with the media coverage of Shedeur as anybody. I get that part of it. But the boy can play. He can play. And he deserves a shot there. Now, I know two caveats. First of all, I know he was going against a Titan secondary of no names, and who the heck are those guys? I know that. And I also know that, especially in the fourth quarter, there was some dinking and dunking going on, because when teams get behind by a couple scores, the defenses start slacking off and giving you stuff underneath. And I'm not dogging him for that, because Cam Ward has benefited from that a lot this season too. When the Titans get down, defenses start playing off, stuff opens underneath. Shedeur benefited from that today. No knock on him, because Cam Ward has benefited from it a lot of this season. Shedeur can play. And statistically, he's got the stats today, to prove it. A bunch of yards and some touchdowns, and he did some good stuff. He really did. And as far as Cam Ward, as far as our guy, statistically did not have the day Shedeur did, but there were two throws in particular. I by now, I would hope we all know Cam Ward. He's dealing with coaching malpractice a lot of times, and then not the best people around him. But the run game was going really well for the Titans today, so they were leaning on that a lot. And there were two throws in particular from Cam that I thought he would like to have back. First was the interception, and the second was the deep crosser to Chimere Dike on a third down. You know what play I'm talking about, where he overthrew him. He was wide open. It was at least been a huge play, if not a touchdown. The second play worries me more than the first. The overthrow worries me more than the interception, because the interception, two things. Number one, it looked like just a really nice play by that guy. And second of all, it looked like a throw that Cam has made in other games, successfully in games previous. But by now, they've got film on you, dude. So young quarterbacks have to learn this. They got film on you now, and they've seen your patterns, they've seen your reads, and they've seen what you do, and that guy has watched your film, and it looked like he knew where you were going to go with the ball, and he picked it. That stuff happens. That one doesn't concern me as much as the overthrow. The overthrow, we've seen Cam struggle with this. Deep ball accuracy. We've got to be able to throw the ball down the field. He has got to improve that this offseason. Absolutely has to. Whoever they hire at coach, his deep ball accuracy has got to improve. Simply must, because it's breaking my heart right now, because it was wide open. And I know on that particular play, was there pressure? Yes. Did they blitz? Yes. Did he have a guy in his face immediately? Yes. Did it force him to have to throw it off his back foot? Yes. But this is the NFL, man. Sometimes you're going to have pressure. You are going to have to make a tough throw with a guy in your face. Now, he's young and he's got time to figure that out and grow, and it's his rookie year, but you're going to have to make that throw sometimes with a guy or two right in your face. So that throw is one that I really wish he could have back, because that one was wide open. Other than that, though, there just wasn't a whole lot. He made the one nice throw to Chim down the seam. He had the touchdown to Ellick, had the touchdown to Chimere, which the touchdown to Chimere and the one to Ellick, I think those were tougher throws than you would have thought watching live, because he had to evade the pressure on the one to Ellick, and then on the one to Chim, there's a tough angle to throw the ball. So those two were nice. He had the play where he almost got sacked and he had to choke slam a dude to get him off of him to throw it away. So I thought that, this was not a disastrous game from Cam. It's not like it was awful. Wasn't his best game. It was just, it was all right. In my opinion, it was all right. Statistically, no, he did not have the day Shedeur did, but it kind of reminded me of some of those performances we used to see from Marcus Mariota when he was with the Titans, where it was like, hey, he didn't do anything great, but he did, he picked his spots and did some things to help us win down the stretch. That's how I felt about Cam today. But it was Tony Pollard in the run game that really dominated this game offensively for the Titans. And how random is that? Because Tony Pollard in the run game has been terrible all season long, but then today it exploded. Credit to Tony Pollard. He's not going to be on the team next year, so it's hard to really get too excited about that. But this was like his most yards in a game that he's ever had in his NFL career. Big game from him, and I got to give credit to the offensive line. I expected the worst from the offensive line today, but they hung in there and they played well. Credit to Dan Moore, credit to J.C. Latham. Myles Garrett had one sack today, and if you would have told me me Myles Garrett would only sack Cam Ward one time, I would have said, I'll take it. And that's what happened today. So it wasn't I probably, honestly, was this the best game of the offensive line this season? Probably, in run and pass blocking. Defensively, Jeffrey Simmons, what a freak. What a freak. He outplayed Myles Garrett, and that's not a knock on Myles Garrett, but it's just praise for Jeffrey Simmons. Jeffrey Simmons outplayed Myles Garrett today, and he had a bigger impact on the game than Myles Garrett. He was unbelievable. There's a couple of guys at edge rush that I think the Titans might want to look at bringing back as depth guys, not starters, but depth guys, Jihad Ward and Jalen Harrell. Not saying they should be starters, but I'm saying those are two guys you could bring back as depth, lower depth chart guys, assuming you go out and get a couple edge rushers this offseason. Corners need new ones all over the field, except for Marcus Harris, who's a 6th-round rookie and made a great play to force a fumble. Good for you, Marcus Harris. Kevin Winston doing some good stuff. He's flying around. Cedric Gray tried to sell this game in the fourth quarter, Cedric Gray. 2-point play. He picks up a fumble running it the other way. Could score 2 points and make it a 2-possession game. He just quit. He just quit and ran out of bounds. Cedric, I know you wore out, bro, but come on now. And then he had a bunch of stupid penalties on the last drive when Cleveland went and scored a touchdown. What? And what is Kevin Stefanski doing taking Shedeur off the field in the last 2-point play? What on earth are you trying to get fired? Don't answer that. But yeah, the Fannin guy for Cleveland's a freak, by the way. He would be the top target. He would be the number one playmaker in the receiving game if he were on the Titans. Jerry Jeudy would also far and away be wide receiver 1 on this team. So Shedeur did have better talent around him, though not great, better than what Cam deals with on a weekly basis. Back to defense, though. The defense played hard. Blocked punt, first blocked punt in 14 years. Credit to James Williams. Xavier Woods with an interception, and then obviously Marcus Harris forces the fumble. Cedric Gray returns it. The defense played well. Special teams came through. Tony Pollard in the run game came through, and then Cam just, kind of did what he had to do. I talked about Shedeur, Dinkin, and Duncan. That's the Titans' entire pass game is Dinkin and Duncan. That's all they do. That's all they do is Dink and Dunk. And the one time they tried to throw it down the field, Cam overthrew the guy. So, and then Van Jefferson. You thought you were going to get out of here without me talking about Van Jefferson? Cam's best throw of the day down the seam. Van Jefferson dropped it. But that's what you get when you're throwing it to Van Jefferson. Okay, that's it for me. Titans win. Tighten up. Bye.